So if you're thinking of any weight transmission, so if you lift any weight from your hand or something like that, so the weight will directly come to radius, okay, and from radius it can goes to Allah, okay, but it can never be from radius to Allah, okay. So wrist joint is carpals with radius, okay. The same concept correspond to the elbow joint. So in elbow joint, wrist, this radius, this is radial head, okay. So radial head lies in the radial fossa of Allah, okay. There is a fossa in Allah where the radial head lies, okay, and Allah directly transmit to the elbow. So elbow, the joint is between the humerus, the upper side is humerus and the lower side is Allah. So radius never take participation in elbow joint. So these two things you should consider. In wrist joint, there is a radius bone which is directly attached to the carpals. Allah is attached to the radius, not to the carpals. In if you consider of this elbow, the Allah is directly continuation to the humerus bone. The radius is not directly continuation to the humerus. Okay, so this two thing is basic. Okay, now we'll go forward. Now this is anatomy of radius Allah. So see, this is radial head. Okay. Today we are mainly concerned about elbow. Okay, we are not concerned about radius, wrist joint. We are concerned about the elbow joint. Okay, so this is radial head. Okay, so this is the circular part is the head of radius. Okay, the circular part is the head of radius. Okay, this is Allah. Okay, this is part of radius. This is Allah. Okay, so they have this notch. This is head radius. It reside in the radial fossa. So if anybody say where is the radial fossa, so radial fossa lies in the Allah bone. Okay, the fossa is it incorporates the radial head. Okay, so the fossa lies in the Allah. What other structures are in Allah? This is trochlea of Allah. Okay, so this is the trochlea joint. Trochlea is like this. Is the shape is like you have seen in the whales. Okay, so जो कुएं में वो it's like a what do you say cycle, no, not a cycle, it's a pulley of the pulley used in wells to extract water. Okay, so this pulley is known as trochlea. Okay, this is capitulum. Okay, so sometimes you got confused by all these names. Nobody can remember capitulum, trochlea and all that. So at least to remember one mnemonic I had remembered is CH. Okay, so where's that pain of my, okay. So I had to remember one thing, that CH. Okay. If you know, if you are more of lay, then CH. So it is capitulum. Okay. C for capitulum. H for head of radius. Okay. So capitulum and head of radius एक साथ रहते हैं. Okay, capitulum and head of radius, they both radial lies on the lateral side. Okay, I think you must have passed your first year. So radius lies on the lateral side. If you go up, there is a radial head. Okay, you can palpate your radial head while while doing supination and pronation of your elbow. If you are doing your forearm, you can feel the radial head. Okay, so above the radial head there is a capitulum. So capitulum and head of radius both lies in the same direction. The other one is Allah and the trochlea and the of Allah. Okay, so you remember this thing only. Okay. Okay, so the third thing is carrying angle. What do you mean by carrying angle? Okay, so normally our joints are not in like perfect shape, like 90 to 90 or something. So there is a carrying angle. Because of the carrying angle, your elbow have some degree of angle. Okay, the elbow you cannot, you feel it's straight, but it's not straight. There is an angle. So if this is consider this is your humerus. Okay, so your humerus lies in this direction. Okay, and your forearm is slightly angled out. Okay, slightly angled out. This is known as carrying angle. It helps in lot of work. Okay, so even if you are lifting some heavy object, you can see it cannot it don't participated in the process of striking inside. Okay, so if you think your elbow is more of a straight now, then there would be difficulty in lifting heavy weight. So for lifting weights, our body has been accustomed in that direction only. So by God nature, or what you say, by by formation we are having some slight degree of angle outside. Okay, so that is known as carrying angle of the elbow. You don't find this angle anywhere. In elbow you find this carrying angle. Okay, so there is three different variety. One is varus and one is valgus. I had already taught many of the students, but for newcomers you just remember valgus. L is this, L is this. Okay, L is this shape. L for, you can say, lateral deviation also. So L is for lateral deviation. And so if it is normal body is this, L goes to outside. Okay, so if the body is straight, okay, anything which is going outside L shape is a valgus. Anything going towards the body is varus. Okay, so varus and valgus, so they are different meanings of varus and valgus. Okay, so according to joint, okay, according to joint you consider. That's why you usually call, like, you never call ulna in valgus or ulna or humerus in valgus. You always relate it to some joint. So in related to this elbow, if there is, if anything is going outside, it is cubitus valgus. If anything going inside, it is cubitus varus. Okay, so cubitus means elbow. The same stand for genu. Genu means knee hota hai. So anything going outside is genu varus. Anything going inside is, please don't draw anything. Okay, you people. So genu means knee. Knee joint mein anything going inside is genu varus. Anything going outside is genu valgus. Same stand for coxa, coxa valga, and coxa vara. So according to joint, it is varus and valgus you determine. So anything going inside is varus, anything going outside is valgus. So this is cubitus valgus. Okay. So now come to this. This is our elbow. Okay. So this is your posterior. From posterior you see this one, and this is also from posterior, but in flexion. So if you see the flexion, there is a condyle. So in humerus there are. I will show you condyle. What is condyle? So this is condyle. Okay. Sorry. So this is condyle. Okay. So radius lies outside. So this is which condyle? This is lateral condyle. Okay. This is medial condyle. Okay. So this is medial condyle. This is lateral condyle. So these are the condyles. Okay. So you see here, there is a medial epicondyle. Okay. This is lateral epicondyle, and this is olecranon. Olecranon is the tip of the ulna. Okay. Olecranon is the tip of ulna. Okay. So olecranon is the tip of ulna. These are the condyle. So if your limb is in flexion mode, so you will see this is a triangle. Okay. This is known as isosceles triangle. Isosceles triangle means इसका and इसका जो distance होता है AB, ये length equal रहेगा. This is known as isosceles triangle. Okay. So in flexion it is going into isosceles triangle form. Okay. In extension it will go into straight line form. Okay. Why this three bony point relationship? Because it helps in fracture. Okay. Which fracture is where, you can know by that. Okay. So you just remember this 3-point fracture triangular and this one straight. Okay. Okay, the same thing, the triangle form and the straight form. Okay. So there is some other triangle known as Anconius triangle. Anconius क्या होता है? Anconius एक muscle होता है जो इस एक area में, इस area में होता है. Okay. So in Anconius triangle में क्या होता है? When you see this thing in a lateral form, okay, this is a lateral form. So lateral form में this Anconius triangle होता है. So what is Anconius triangle? This is radial head. And many people are coming every minute. I don't know. I cannot do this. Okay. Every minute some people are coming, some people are going. That's sort of irritating. Okay. Anyway. So okay. So this is radial head. Okay. This is radial head. Okay. This is part of the olecranon. This is olecranon part. This is radial head, and this is the lateral part of the lateral condyle of humerus. Okay. So this is known as Anconius triangle. So you just remember, if you see your X-ray in the lateral form, you will see this Anconius triangle. So it is mainly formed of Three things. One is radial head, one is lateral condyle of this humerus, and one is this one, olecranon fossa. Okay. Okay. So no, I will come later on. Okay. So this. Okay. So now we'll go for the stability of the joints. Okay. So stability of joint is mainly from the ligaments. You have, according to ligament, there is a radial collaterals. What are the collateral ligament? Collaterals means क्या होता है? If you say there is something which is giving you collateral damage means sides. So if this is your humerus, if you see this is your humerus, this is your ulna, this is your radius. So anything which is this is collateral. Okay, this is collateral. So this is collaterals. So collaterals means sides. Collaterals means sides होते हैं. So anything which is coming from sides is known as collateral. So there is a radial collateral ligament, there is ulnar collateral ligament. Okay, so you remember these two ligaments, collateral ligament, and third is ligament is annular ligament. What is annular ligament? Annular ligament is for radius. Okay, so if you see radius now, so radius का जो head रहेगा, it is like radial head है. This is radial head. Okay, so there is a ligament which is surrounding the radius. Annulus means annular, like in, if you had studied discectomy, you had heard this annular disc. So annular is the outer part of the disc. Okay, the same thing, the annulus is the outer part of the radial head. So radial head is surrounded by this annular ligament. So there are many ligaments or many in the elbow joint. Any joint is compromised of ligament. So this is annular ligament. Outer side is annular ligament. The sideways are the collaterals ligament. Okay. So collaterals हो गए, annular हो गया. Okay. Okay. So these are same, the anatomy. Okay. So these are the same, wrist flexor, wrist extensor, elbow anatomy. Nothing such. Okay, so movement of elbow, you have all know flexion, extension, supination, pronation, which are the muscles. The flexion is by biceps and brachialis, brachioradialis. Extension is always by triceps, supination and pronation. Okay, so elbow joint is three joint. Okay, uh, nothing to fear. So this is something which is must remember this. This is a MCQ part. Okay, so ossification center. There are many ossification center in body, like primary ossification, secondary ossification. So elbow joint is formed of many ones: the capitulum, radial head, medial condyle, lateral condyle. There are many ossification centers. So there is a simple mnemonic, crito. It is known as crito. Creta जैसा है उस तरह crito. CRITOE. So it is like capitulum, radial head, internal, epicondyle. Internal means medial. Trochlea, olecranon, external. And it is like 1, 3, 5, 7. अल्टरनेट है, दो गैप करके 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. Okay, so 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11 and crito. So you just remember this one. Okay, now you come for supracondylar fracture. What is this? See, so ये देख लो. This is something to see. So what is condyles? Condyles दो होते हैं. Elbow में, humerus में there is two condyles. One is medial condyle, one is lateral condyle. Okay, as soon as the condyles get over, okay, anything the above condyle is known as supra. Anything above condyle is known as supra. So where the condyle ends, this is medial condyle, this is lateral condyle. Any area where the condyle ends, above that is supracondylar. So you remember this one. This is a very common for humerus fracture. So supracondylar area is most common area to get fracture in children, not in adults. So in adults, we have this area is the junctional area. So in adults, it becomes strong. Okay, while in children, it is very weak. Okay, so supracondylar fracture in humerus is the most common fracture. The most common fracture in children. So the most common fracture in children in humerus or in elbow is supracondylar humerus fracture. Okay, so this is the humerus part. This is the condyles. Above this condyles, this is supracondyle. So any fracture here is a supracondylar fracture. Okay. So the same thing, radius, ulna, epicondyle, supracondylar. This is the condyles. And this line is related to supracondylar. Okay, this is olecranon fossa, where the olecranon area got impinged. Okay. So these are the ossification center: capitulum, medial epicondylis, like Crito. So for undergraduate purpose, or for most of the purpose, you just remember whenever you fall, okay, you always fall on outstretched hand like this. You cannot fall uh, without putting your hand, because it's a reflex. So most of the fractures or most of the injury what we have are mainly on the outstretched hand, okay. So whenever you have an outstretched hand, obviously your elbow would be in hyperextension mode, okay. So supracondylar, we are talking in terms of supracondylar fracture. So most common way of injury in supracondylar is outstretched fall with hyperextension injury, okay. So there is a two type of fracture. Supracondylar, there's two type of fracture. One is extension and one is flexion. Okay. So I will tell you what is extension, what is flexion. Okay. So see, flexion and extension. So if you have elbow flexion, so the distal part. Okay. So we always use proximal and distal. Hope you know what is the meaning of proximal and distal. Proximal means towards the center, distal means away from the center, okay. So if you have elbow flexion, the distal part means the forearm part will comes towards the body, okay, that is a flexion. If the distal part is going away from the body, it is extension, okay. So same, the fractures, the distal fracture, the distal fragment, this is the distal fragment of the, you see this is humerus, there is a fracture, this is the distal fragment. If the distal fragment come towards the body, okay, this is a flexion type of injury. If it is going away from the body, it is extension type of injury, okay. So in supracondylar fracture, there is the fracture occurs because on hyper extended elbow, on an outstretched hand, there is a fracture. The fracture fragment, the distal fragment of supracondylar humerus, can go either towards in the flexion mode or away from the extension, away from the body. That is extension fracture. So most commonly it is a extension type of fracture. 80% is 80. So they usually ask the most common type of fracture. So you remember two things: extension, extension, extension. So hyperextension of elbow, outstretched hand, hyperextension type of fracture, extension type of fracture. So 80% is extension type of fracture. Okay. So extension type of fracture. Now you come. So most common elbow children's is supracondylar humerus. Most common elbow injury. There are a lot of fracture in elbow. The most common is supracondylar. Okay, extension type. Okay. So now the same thing. This is the posterior displacement, or you can say extension type. This is flexion type or anterior displacement. So anterior displacement is known as flexion type. Posterior displacement is known as extension type. Most common कौन सा है? Extension type, that is posterior displacement is the most common. Now in posterior, if you have a posterior displacement, so consider this, so consider this is ऐसा है, ठीक है. Now यहाँ से displace होता है, so posteriorly जो displacement होता है, this is if it is a normal structure. So sometimes the posterior displacement can be posteromedial हो सकता है, posterolateral हो सकता है. So posterolateral means lateral. If you feel your elbow, it can go into lateral side, it can go into medial side. The most commonly, if they ask, okay, so it is posteromedial, okay. So you just remember it for MCQ purpose. So these three things you should remember. So most common fracture of supracondylar fracture is extension. Extension is a type of posterior displacement, and in posterior also it is a medial type of displacement. Okay, so posteromedial, posterior, and extension type. Fall on outstretched hand and hyperextended elbow. Okay. Okay, clinically, if there is any fracture, so any fracture is related with swelling, pain. So there is a pain, there is a swelling, there may be nerve injury or may not be nerve injury, inability to move your limbs because there is no connection of bone has already got broken. So distally you cannot move your hand. So these are the clinical features of fracture. Any fracture, not related to supracondylar. Any fracture, you have these 3-4 symptoms: the pain, swelling, distally you cannot move your limbs. Okay. The same thing. Other than that, there may be neural injury. Any nerve nearby you can got injured that. Okay. Any vessel you can injure that. Okay. Okay. Just wait. Hello. हाँ बोलो ना. हम्म 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 ओके हाँ तो प्लास्टर कर दो ना. नहीं नहीं कोई इशू नहीं, प्लास्टर कर दो. ओके नहीं नहीं ठीक है, नहीं नहीं प्लास्टर. ओके ओके okay, sorry for the disturbance. So this clinically, this is something we should, you just remember first thing and then we'll go back. So एक fat pad sign होता है. What is fat pad sign? Oh god, the meeting is going to. So fat pad sign क्या होता है? This is the anterior humeral line. So this is the bone, there is a humeral line anteriorly. Okay, whenever there is a fracture because of the fat, okay, there is a fat in the bone, near the bone, okay, ये fat pad sign दिखता है. Okay, this black one. Okay, so ये सारे, ये तो triceps muscle है, that red pink वाला. That black one is a fat pad sign. So this is posterior fat pad sign, this is anterior fat pad sign. So if you see the fat pad sign, there means there is a fracture, otherwise fat pad sign नहीं दिखता है. Okay, so you just remember fat pad sign in supracondylar humerus. Okay, the third thing is dimple and puckered, because see, the normal skin is a continuous smooth surface. Okay, if there is any disturbances because of the bone, so see here, the bone has actually pierced the muscle and poking into the skin, so there is a dimpling or puckering. Okay, so dimpling and puckering can happen in supracondylar humerus because of the bone impinging into the skin from inside. Okay, so clinically you can have that pain, swelling, inability to move your distal limbs. There is a fat pad sign, there is a dimple or puckering, is the same thing. A-shaped deformity of elbow. Okay, that's okay. So you just remember fat pad sign. Okay, dimple sign and puckering sign. Then there's this classification, we say Gartland classification. Some people say garden classification, just to remember that you fall in some garden without stretched hand, with hyper extended elbow. There is a hyper extension type of your humerus fracture, which is most common, and it is all occurred in garden. So you can remember that way, that garden classification or Gartland classification. So it's upon you how to you remember, but you have to remember the name at least. Okay, you don't remember all this, but you remember the name, Gartland classification. So any classification, the classifications are very difficult to remember, but you remember one golden rule of any classification: the first fracture is always undisplaced. Okay, and then the severity of displacement increase. So see, the first fracture is undisplaced fracture. There is a anterior cortical line and posterior cortical line, both are okay. Okay, in second, there is a somewhere separation. Okay, but still the posterior cortical line is still there. Okay, and the third is totally displaced. So you just remember Garden classification. Second thing you remember, first is always undisplaced. Okay, second is posterior cortex continuity hai, third mein there is no continuity. Okay, so just remember three things. Okay, now okay, so any fracture, so there is a golden rule: any fracture you can conserve means you don't operate. So you can, any fracture you can conserve. There is no hard and fast rule which fracture you have to operate, which fracture you cannot operate, because it's totally surgeon based. Okay, so any fracture, so if there is any classification like 1 2 3 4, so you just remember that first or two you can do conservative is putting plaster. Okay, so these are the plaster. This is above elbow cast. Okay, I will tell you the basics of how to put cast and how to put slab, but just for the supracondylar, you just remove grade 1 or grade 2. You can put a plaster and get away with that. Okay, but if there is there's a second or third part. Okay, so some if there is a displacement or there is any injury, neural injury, vascular injury, or any complicated fracture, then you have to fix it. So how you fix that fracture? You fix fracture with K wires. So these are the K wires. You just to remember, because it isn't, because the bones is of children. Okay, you cannot put a bigger things, bigger implant or something. You have to put some small K wires. K wires are very small. So you just put two K wires here, so that the fracture will be in alignment. Okay, when the fracture is aligned, it will it will unite by its own after 6 weeks. Okay, then this is CRIF and ORIF. So what is closed reduction internal fixation? What is open reduction internal fixation? Most of the people had not attended my lecture. So open means you have to open the fracture. Okay, you have to put a skin incision, you have to remove the muscle, you have to go to the fracture line. That is open reduction, and then you reduce the two fragments. So there is a two fragments. okay, which is separated, which is displaced. So you open, you take an incision on the skin, you remove the fascia, you remove muscle, you reach to the bone, you fix both two fracture, both two bones, okay. That is a form of open reduction, okay. Internal fixation means अंदर का fixation किया. So you, whenever you दोनों bones को you join by some K wire or some rod or some screw, anything you can do by anything. So that is known as internal fixation, okay. So that is open reduction internal fixation. Then there is some other thing which is CRIF, that is close reduction internal fixation. So close reduction means you don't open the fracture, you don't open the skin, anything you don't open. So close reduction कैसे बाहर से करते हैं? We from externally we manipulate fracture. We see under X-ray, we manipulate fracture. Okay. Once the fracture is stabilized, within X-ray we'll see if the fracture is aligned. Then we'll put a K wire from outside. So it is a percutaneous. Percutaneous means skin के बाहर से ही K wire डालते हैं. While in open reduction internal fixation we open the joint and अंदर जाके हम K wire डालते हैं. क्लोज रिडक्शन में क्या करते हैं? वी डोंट ओपन द स्किन, ओके. सो बाहर से ही हम के वायर डालते हैं, जिसे परक्यूटेनियस स्पिनिंग बोलते हैं. So these are the two terms. If you remember, it's okay. It's not for this purpose. It's for a general orthopedic purpose. You just remember K wire fixation for supracondylar humerus. Okay. So this is the same. See, close reduction and percutaneous fixation. Okay, now come for the complication. So any fracture have the same complication. So anything which is nearby the fracture will get injured. And so normally which artery and many nerves crosses the elbow? You had, I think there's some mnemonic MBBS or something, median nerve, brachial artery and all that. Okay, so most commonly which artery is, there's a brachial artery which is going anteriorly. Okay, so brachial artery is injury, nerve can be injured. Okay, then there's three different words. I will teach you this. Volkmann, ischemic contraction, myostatic ossification, and malunion. Okay, so first we'll artery. So artery, what happens to the artery? If there is any injury to brachial artery, how will you know any artery got fractured or any artery got injured because of the fracture? You feel the distal pulsation. If you don't feel the radial pulse, it means obviously there is no pulse coming from the from the upper side. That means there is any injury to the brachial artery at the part of the elbow. That's why you don't feel the pulse at the radial side. So brachial artery injury. Now come for the nerve injury. So there are many nerves and that area. One is median nerve and one is ulnar nerve. So there's two nerves you should remember: median nerve and ulnar nerve. Okay. Now how to, so most common fracture we have is extension. Okay. So whenever there is extension, okay. So whenever there is extension, okay, so there is an injury of the median nerve because the proximal fragment. So extension mein kya hota hai? The distal part go posteriorly and the proximal part, obviously distal part is going posteriorly, so the proximal part will come anteriorly. So the proximal part will impinge on the median nerve. So median nerve anteriorly jata hai. So median nerve jata hai. So most commonly jo fracture hota hai wo extension type injury hota hai. That's why the most common nerve injury is median nerve. मीडियन नर्व का एक ब्रांच होता है जिसको बोलते हैं एंटीरियर इंट्रोसियस नर्व. इंट्रोसियस क्यों बोलते हैं? जैसे इंट्रोसियस लिगामेंट. ओके, सो रेडियस अल्ना के बीच में जो मसल्स होते हैं उनके बीच में एक इंट्रोसियस लिगामेंट होता है. इंटरऑसियस मतलब, ऑसियस मतलब बोन, इंटर मतलब दो बोन्स के बीच में. सो बिटवीन रेडियस एंड अल्ना देयर इज अ लिगामेंट नोन एज इंटरऑसियस लिगामेंट. सो एक एंटीरियर इंट्रोसियस नर्व होता है, दैट इज अ पार्ट ऑफ मीडियन नर्व व्हिच क्रॉसेस इनटू दैट लिगामेंट. ओके, सो द most commonly अगर nerve injury में अगर if you have option of median nerve and anterior interosseous nerve, the answer would be anterior interosseous nerve. Okay, because most commonly यही injure होता है. And when I was giving this PG, I have both these options. I had put median nerve as answer, but that was wrong. Anterior interosseous nerve is most common, which is a branch of median nerve. अगर if AIN is not given, you can put median nerve as answer. Okay, now you come to flexion injury. So flexion injury में क्या होता है? The distal part is coming inside, coming towards the body, and the proximal part will go posteriorly. So posteriorly you have ulnar nerve. Okay, so posteriorly जैसे जाता है वो ulnar nerve को injure करता है. So you just remember for MCQ purpose. So sometimes they write you. So there's three type of MCQ can be formed in the same thing. Most common type of nerve injury in supracondylar humerus, they can put you these three options. So the answer is anterior interosseous nerve. The same question can be asked without anterior interosseous nerve. So you have to put median nerve. Sometimes the question is most common most common nerve injury in flexion type of supracondylar humerus, then you have to put ulnar nerve. Okay, so depending upon, if they had not put anything flexion or extension, so you know the most common is extension. That's why the answer is median or anterior introcista. But if they have specifically asked flexion type of supracondylar, then you have to put ulnar nerve. Okay. So this is compartment syndrome. What do you mean by compartment syndrome? These are all complications. So compartments क्या होता है? So you have many compartments of your legs. Okay, so legs are form of many compartments.